Dumb Guy Live, everybody. How are we doing? We got P, we got Jamie, we got Murph down below as usual. Jamie.
I'm back.
All right, thanks, Murph. Yeah, you got it. You are back, buddy. And you're holding your camera.
You see, two of our top stars in Wrestle Purist don't even have a camera. One, because they have to. One, because they're lazy. The other one, so it's fine that I come here without a camera, hopefully. Right. I don't gross as much money as they do, to their credit, but, I do my thing.
That's true. I asked Monty for money for the first time ever today. He's going to pay me exactly $11 a month to pay for Twitter Blue on the Dumb Guy Live account. But
see, that's not to go back to court, and that's what I get from Monty every month. So we're all equal pay here.
IDEK coming in hot.
My man.
New Japan Pro Wrestling. Commander Laws. We're dumb. We're live. We're Guy and we're live. That's true. That's true. It's all true.
Well, you see, IDK, it's popular within the Japanese fans, so we need to respect their booking decisions because it doesn't matter what they book as long as some Japanese fans pop for it. Okay.
Yep. As long as Japanese, because if when Japanese fans see Cyrus in All Japan for the first time, and they're like, "Wow, it's a big guy," that makes me think I should like him too. I should like him. Too. Fit goes crazy. Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay. We got a lot to get into today. We got New Japan and some questions there. We got Stardom. Stardom's going great right now.
Yeah.
Stardom's doing great. We have Dragon Gate. We have Noah, which commenced their round robin tournament. We have NJPW.
Do we really?
We have Gleet Sumo. We have a Sumo Hall show to review.
Yeah.
Which is, and then we may touch on a little bit of Marvelous and a little bit of Kyrie as well.
Oh yeah.
That's
Kyrie is a real quick one. She's going to the Fed.
That's the docket. Well, maybe we'll get to her when we get to Stardom. We'll do that. Oh, D Money. Do I follow you on Twitter? Because if not, I need to follow you back. $11 for the only Wrestle Purist show that starts on time. It's true.
We do somehow.
It's true. The white boys make it happen every single week here on Wrestle Purist.
The three tears.
And I think a good way to kick this off. I love this chat from Laz here. 5-star Grand Prix has been healing my heart from the G1 disappointment. I watched so much wrestling today, you guys. I watched the entire Gleet Sumo Hall show. I watched the last 2 days of the G1 Climax. I watched the Noah N1 day one, and the last thing I did was catch up on all the Stardom 5-star GP that I missed. And the Stardom stuff, yes, Laz, you are completely right, has made me feel a lot better. I enjoyed literally everything I saw from Stardom this weekend, which cannot be said for any other promotion out there. So without further ado, let's get into some New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm going to briefly go through one show, our last full 8-match G1 show. That happened last Wednesday in Hiroshima. Nothing crazy on the show. Hinare versus Ishii was really good. It continues Hinare's breakout performance this tournament. Naito beating Sabre was fun. They always have a good dynamic. Naito had to win with a roll up there, and then Shingo beat Finlay in the main event. And I think all three of us were thinking, okay, good. That sets Shingo up for him to,
or so we thought.
I do think that it sets up a never open weight title match, and I really hope that Shingo wins it. I think that would be good booking, in my opinion. So then, on Saturday in Osaka, we had the A Block finals. So we kicked things off with Yota Tsuji versus Gabe Kidd. This had one of the great wrestling moments all year, in my opinion, where the match is getting started. Gabe Kidd is going to attack Tsuji on the ramp. He does. He starts beating him up. And then a second Yota Tsuji appears. And it's the real Yota Tsuji. And it's determined that it was Tsuji's twin brother, which I didn't know he had. Yeah. Yeah, Noda Tsuji. Yeah, it's
No, it's Shota.
yeah. Okay. But
Oh, I get
no,
it.
I loved this, you guys, and I thought the match ended up being really good too. Just a big, two guys who are highly motivated, young guys, upstarts. Tsuji getting the win with the spear.
Yeah, I love this start. I think when the reveal eventually happened that it wasn't actually Suji, or well, it was a Suji, but not the one we thought
Not
it
with the
was.
one.
I think the the commentators kind of mentioned, they thought it was like a young one of the young lions or something, and I didn't clock until later on that it was like a twin brother. Like you said, I don't think many people realized. But finding out that he's a stuntman as well, that was fun. But yeah, I mean, the only way they could have like gone even further with it is if they'd have gone like full like like Bella twins with it, and like Shota had got like he snuck in and like got a roll.
Or it like turns out that they've like the other Tsuji has been also training to be a wrestler the entire time, and has just been every other match Yoda has like traded off with him or something. That'd be pretty great. Bear with Murph. He's having some technical difficulties right now. He says he's gonna get it sorted out though. But I thought this was so much fun, Jamie. It's cool because like Tsuji, he just looks so distinctive, right? Like there's nobody who looks like him except his twin brother, and so it just made it really fun. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I thought it was the best thing on the show.
Agreed.
Ren Narita. Sorry, did you have anything else to say there?
I was just going to say that they've both got that like very distinctive smile.
It's
like a little bit unsettling.
Yeah, a little bit unsettling, a little sly, a little coy. So then we had Ren Narita beating Kaito Kiyomiya clean. Match was solid, but I mean, my big takeaway was Kaito Kiyomiya, who was GHC heavyweight champion earlier this year, and had obviously a big time singles match with Okada in the semi-main event of Keiji Muto's retirement show, who beat Keiji Muto on Muto's road to retirement. Finished with 6 points in this G1. He had 2 wins in the entire G1 climax.
Shocking.
Did Kaito Kiyomiya, and another loss to him was pretty disappointing.
There is there was a rumor going around that Noah actually paid New Japan to allow Kaito Kiyomiya to be in the G1. I don't know the validity of that. That's just a rumor that's going around. But if that's so, that makes a lot of sense that they were like, here, damn. I mean, they give him the 2 wins and they sent him going. He probably should have done the N1 if he wasn't going to make the finals. I mean, we got fucking Saxon Huxley in the shit, and we couldn't have no spot for Kaito Kiyomiya. I mean, well, that's a whole nother issue we'll get to later. But no, Kaito Kiyomiya, who was over. I mean, I don't forget who he faced at Korakuen, but the whole place was going
Sonata.
Kaito.
It was the Sonata match, right?
Yes, they love fucking Kaito Kiyomiya, and they treat him like a fucking geek. But honestly, I can't really say much since fucking Hikuleo's going to the finals. So really, the validity of this booking of this tournament is just like so non-existent that at this point you just have to like shake your head and go, yeah, fuck. I mean, Gato over the last 6 months gained all this goodwill, and he's like, oh my God, New Japan's back. We're back. The best booker in the world. And in one fucking tournament, he just says, nope, no, I'm not. Tony Khan's Book of the Year. And he's like, I'm pretty sure Tony Khan paid Gato to get his Booker of the Year. Because Gato, I feel like I could fucking book this tournament better without like being a Japanese booker. I mean, Jesus, it's like so simple. But he books things because according to some non-paid New Japan people, apparently the Japanese fans love it. So, us in America, our peasant selves that we can't even have an opinion. I mean, New Japan's great. You know why? Because the Japanese fans love Hikuleo because he's 6'8". Wow.
I'm pretty sure I pay the same amount in yen every month as anybody else who
I pay the same amount in yen and even more, because when they come to America and I want to support New Japan Pro Wrestling, I have to pay triple the price to get tickets. And I have to
and my account at least always buys the pay-per-views too on the but so
you see, instead of it being a Japanese fan who they come to your store, no, for me to see New Japan Pro Wrestling, I have to drive 6 hours to Toronto to indulge in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, it's like I'm not gonna go on it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, New Japan doesn't care about their foreign fans, but to say that you should forget about bad booking because the Japanese fans somehow like it. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, I don't understand. Is this a Japanese company or is this a global company? Who is New Japan Pro Wrestling for? It's New Japan World, New Japan Global. Well, think of the fucking world and that we don't want to see this shit.
Jamie, what do you think about I know you like Kaito as well. What's your thought on this here?
Yeah, may have kind of hit all the nails on the head there, but this was beyond baffling. I mean, like, I think going into this, when Kaito was announced to be in the G1, it was very, very exciting. But the main kind of takeaway was, okay, he's not facing Okada in the blocks, so he's got to be getting out, and you've got to be getting that match in the knockouts because, I mean, in my opinion, that is the hottest feud of the year, and giving New Japan the chance to, like, you know, put another chapter in there, get a huge big match in the G1. It's kind of it was a layup. So for him not to not to progress, to not take that opportunity, obviously we know Okada's got through, which is unsurprising. But we're not going to get that match, at least in the G1 anyway. I assume we will get one down the line. It's ridiculous. It's even more ridiculous, and we're going to get to it when you consider who did make it through, because even beyond Kaito Kiyomiya, you had the three guys who you're touting as, you know, the three musketeers, the future of the company.
Right. They had a whole press release and everything last month just talking about how they're the future.
Yeah, exactly. And then, okay, so fair enough. If you're telling the story that they're all going to cancel each other out, obviously, majority of those matches there were draws besides the Tsuji and Shota one. Well, then you've got Gabe Kidd, who could be the perfect benefactor of that. The perfect, not benefactor. I've done an Abu there and used the wrong term.
Beneficiary.
Beneficiary of those cancelling each other out. You know, as the perfect foil to the Musketeers, and then you set him up. He doesn't have to progress in the next knockout, but you set up a next top heel guy for years to come. But no, you went with Hikuleo, who outside of Chase Owens, who like no one like thinks is even remotely good, is like by far the worst person in that block. He had a few good matches, but it was very much a case of him being carried by his like the Musketeers in that group. It's ridiculous. It makes the decision not to do the very, very obvious and easy option like even more outrageous, when you didn't even go for like a decent backup.
So Sonata beat Chase Owens. He's notable because he's one of the few people to go fully undefeated in a G1 block schedule. I do think that's a cool little note there. But then, yes, as mentioned in the main event, it was Hikuleo beating Shota Umino. I do have to say, I think this was the best Hikuleo match ever. I thought this was a really strong match with great drama at the end. Shota's really come into his own. I would say, I think just on a consistency basis, just like night by night, out of all the young guys in the block, Shota was the one who impressed me the most throughout this tournament.
Agree.
But again, the booking is insanely frustrating. And it's not just, there's just so many aspects to it that are frustrating. There is, as you mentioned, the Kaito aspect, right? Everybody just is desperately chomping at the bit for another Okada Kaito match, right? Because the first one was so great and the feud was so hot. Of course, that initial angle is one of the 5 most memorable moments in probably outside of Muto's retirement. It's probably the number 2 moment in Japanese wrestling all year. Is the original Kaito and Okada angle. And then, of course, if it's not going to be Kaito for whatever reason, you have all these 3 excellent young guys who you want to push and you want to put in big spots, but you just don't go with them for whatever reason. I get the story you're trying to tell, but then not only is it Hikuleo, but then that means that we're subsequently going to get Hikuleo in the block quarterfinals, which are supposed to be some of the like best, most exciting matches of the tournament.
And they're gonna be
just
shit.
won't be. Yeah, they just won't be. They won't be with Hikuleo. They won't be with Evil. The Finley and Osprey match will be great because it's Will Osprey. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I don't get it. I
have to do a public apology to our dear leader Montel. He was telling us this whole time, this G1 sucks. And we would tell him, hey, man, the block finals are going to be great. Just get ready.
Right.
I am sorry, Monty. I apologize. Someone clip this and send this to Monty. I am sorry, Monty. I doubted you. I doubted you. And, I doubted the dear leader. And I was wrong.
All right. So that was the A block finals. B block finals in Osaka the following night. Couple matches here. Kenta beat Yoshihashi. Great Okan beat Taichi. Kazuchika Okada beat Tonga Loa to lock up the block victory. This was like the worst Okada match I've seen like
Tonga Loa is
in
awful.
so long. Like the clip of Loa with those throat chops going
Those
viral
Tongan
on
strikes.
yeah, those Tongan strikes was that was pretty nasty. But luckily, all was forgiven after the main event here, where Will Ospreay beat El Phantasmo to seal his spot in the quarterfinals. This match was incredible. I thought this was the best match of the tournament thus far. Murph, you're a huge El Phantasmo fan.
And
we're all
huge
huge.
fan.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say we're all huge Ospreay fans. What do you think of this one?
I fucking love this match. Oh my god! After watching the terrible, abysmal match that was the SummerSlam main event, I needed this match to pick me up. Boy, that match fucking sucked. And then this was, this was cinema. Ospreay ELP, this was cinema. I mean, ELP, I love ELP. I have ELP stock, and I feel like it's risen. It's dipped at points, but my ELP stock is, staying strong right now. I really love the match. It was a lot of fun. Ospreay's the best wrestler in the world. I mean, I can say that easily. He's the best wrestler in the world, and he's getting to the point where it's like undeniable that he's one of the greatest ever. Like, you can say like, oh, Dave's ratings are biased, but there's a reason he has the most rating, like 5-star ratings, because he's just like once in a lifetime generational talent. Like, the way he's evolved from being a small flying junior to the 6'1", 235-pound, monster that can just work any style with anybody. I'm really interested to see what his match with Marufuji is like, because I feel like he can have a great match with Marufuji.
I think it's going to be great. Great.
Will Ospreay's the man. I love ELP. This was my favorite match of the tournament, and outside of the top, championship stuff, this was one of my favorite matches of New Japan this entire year.
Jamie.
Yeah, I would also probably say this is now my match of the tournament. I thought it was terrific. I've not been as high on ELP as Murph has. I know he's a long time big fan, but I will say that him in the G1 this year, I think he certainly proved a lot of doubters wrong. I think he's had some pretty solid performances. This being the absolute pick of the bunch, and it's no surprise because he's in there with Will Ospreay. Just super hard hitting and fast paced. And the closing stretch as well. Now, going into it, I didn't really have many doubts that Ospreay would be advancing. Right. Although you never know with with the booking that we got from the previous night and especially the one after. So that put a little bit of doubt in my mind. But there were some really convincing false finishes there, and the crowd were super hot for it as well, and they bought it, which only made the match even better because he kind of bought in the ELP had a chance there. But just terrific, and I would agree that Ospreay is currently the front runner for wrestler of the year.
ELP hit he obviously hit the CR2, which Ospreay kicked out of, and he also hit the super kick, which has been super well protected for him over the last couple of years. So really exciting back and forth finish. He also kicked out of the hidden blade. Phantasmo did. Ospreay finished him with the Tiger Driver after all. So great stuff. No complaints about Okada and Ospreay obviously being the two to advance from their block. And then this morning or last night, whatever you prefer, we had the C block finals.
Fuck me.
Started off with Tomohiro Ishii beating Mikey Nichols. Ishii had a great G1 as expected. I think we can all. I just wanted to shout that out there.
Definitely.
And Nichols. I thought Nichols stood out way more than Shane Haste throughout the tournament.
Mikey had a great G1.
Yep, good for him. Good for him. I mean, that's what you do. The G1 is such a huge opportunity. If you're able to make yourself stand out, he has, and his night one, his first opponent, Hinare. That match was so notable, and they just kind of kept it going throughout the entire tournament.
I would say the whole Oceanic contingent was very impressive. This entire thing from
the Oceanic contingent,
from Australia and New Zealand. They were all very impressive. Our U.S. women's soccer team was a disappointment there, but their wrestlers from there have been a very strong suit in the world of wrestling. So I was very happy with Hinare, Mad Mikey, and Shane Haste. I thought held his own and did it well enough. So I feel like they deserve their plaudits, and I think that Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste should be brought back I think they should be signed full time if they aren't already for New Japan, because you can't let another tag team go after what they did with Aussie Open.
They had a great tag title match earlier in the year with
I agree.
It was with Goto and Yoshihashi, right? And it was just excellent. So So Tamatanga beat Hinare. David Finlay beat Eddie Kingston to seal his block victory, as expected. Always an outside chance that Eddie, who's a push star in AEW, was going to make the out rounds, but it was just a foregone conclusion that Finlay was going to make it. And
this Finlay thing, Finlay to me is like the new Roman Reigns. Like, that's a crazy comparison. But current Finlay is like 2017 Roman Reigns, where they want to push this guy, but this guy stinks. He's not good. He has nothing. He brings nothing to the table. He looks like he dressed up like Jay White for Halloween. Like, he's just a fucking geek. My Lord.
Get his ass.
I didn't mind the match too much. I think it definitely benefited though from Eddie Kingston's like kind of style. I think early on it was more of a David Finlay match of like had a long, heat segments and stuff, and just dominant heel work. But then Eddie kind of brought the fight, made it a bit more intense, back and forth, hard hitting. So I think that benefited it. And yeah, the result was kind of it was to be expected. He's a pushed champion, faction leader. He was always going to make it, but then the next result is the one where it all went wrong.
We got a $4.99 super chat here from Custodian BPJ. Could be a big big night tonight. NXT starts in 8 minutes. Don't leave. Don't go away. Don't watch that show. But dumb guys, we're going to go to Bora Bora when I win the Mega tonight to celebrate. I got y'all. Even the Trump supporter Murph.
Whoa.
That's great. I see Brian no issues with that. Nope.
Brian Pillman Jr. called me a Trump supporter. It's very, ironic. I mean, I'd say, but I don't think our overlap between NXT watchers and Dumb Guy Live watchers is that big, so I'm not really worried about them.
That's true. All right, and then in the main event, we had Evil.
Oh my God!
defeating Shingo Takagi to advance to the quarterfinals. He finished second in the block. He tied for the block victory, actually, but Finlay had the tiebreaker. And Shingo Takagi went 3-1-3, or 3-3-1, I guess, if you go by win-loss tie.
This promotion's cooked.
There have already been like 10 wrestlers who have finished with more points than Shingo ended up finishing with in this tournament, and we're not even done with D block yet. Like Goto has a chance to finish with more points than Shingo in this tournament. So yeah, that's that. I don't have much to say about the match. I thought the match sucked. I did not. It wasn't even like it was the Hikuleo match where I thought actually this ended up being an okay match. I thought the match was fucking garbage. I just wanted it to be over because I was waiting for Shingo to win, and then he didn't, and then he lost, and Evil won. And I haven't been this deflated by an Evil win, I don't think, since he was world champion. This one was even more infuriating to me than the Hikuleo one, just because there's no story that they're telling here. It's literally just heat, right? It's an obstacle or adversity for a babyface to overcome, right? It's probably going to be Sonata, right, to advance, and obviously they have a ton of history, Evil and Sonata, with each other. But the problem is Evil has been presented as a comedy geek for the entire year. He loses. He was present in every single show Best of the Super Juniors match, and did bad in the Best of the Super Juniors. Like, the House of Torture are jokes. There was no reaction other than boos when this match ended. And not only that, it's the opportunity cost of not including Shingo Takagi in the quarterfinals. Again, imagine Sonata versus Shingo in the quarterfinals. That's a great match. You can go either way with it, and it's the right call, right? It's like if Shingo loses, he's gonna make Sonata look fucking awesome in the win. If he wins, sets up a title match at Destruction, you're good to go until Wrestle Kingdom, right? But no, we're gonna go with Evil. What if Evil beats Sonata and he's like the Destruction title match or something?
That'd be
like how
fucking
bad
awful.
would that be? How shitty would that be? But no, can't go with Shingo. Can't go with the inspired choice. Remember 2 years ago, Ghetto, when you booked Shingo to win at Dontaku and win the world title, and nobody thought you were going to do it. You thought it was just going to go back to Okada after Ospreay's injury, and everybody was all excited. Nope, done with that. That's over. Got to go back to Evil, especially because that was in the wake of the Evil reign. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get this at all. This was even more baffling to me than Hikuleo.
Oh, much more to me. Because with Hikuleo, you can like make the argument, he's young, he's big, and they think they can push him. Like, it's a dumb argument, but there's an argument there. Evil, it'd be like if fucking AEW said, oh, Matt Menard should win the international title or whatever. It's like that. Like, you push a guy who's a comedy like joke, and you push him over one of your best wrestlers and one of your top wrestlers who's a push star. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, there have been some booking decisions where, like, Hikuleo, I don't like it, but it makes like some bit of sense. Like, yeah. I understand what they're going for. This makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason why you would do this, but they fucking did it. And Shingo, who's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, lost to Evil to go to. I can't do my displeasure more. Like, I'm just like can't express it. Like
how much more of a no-brainer do you have than putting a wrestler as good as Shingo Takagi and as popular as Shingo Takagi in the quarterfinals of your round robin tournament? Like, he's a guy who, I don't know. You can just slot him in against like anybody, and it's going to be great. But
I don't know if this is like a bullshit, like, oh, Evil's our guy. Evil's like a New Japan trainee, like in that. Well, we're gonna push him over the filthy Dragon Gate guy. I don't know. You could say that, but I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Shingo's not going to win the tournament. Evil's not going to win the tournament, but at least make the block quarterfinal better.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing that I didn't even mention. My other criticism: there is not a soul in the world that thinks that Evil or Hikuleo or even Finlay, really.
Yeah,
I mean, I shouldn't say that. There are probably some people
who think Finlay can
has
win
a shot, but there's nobody who thinks that Hikuleo or Evil can win this tournament. So then, like, what's the point? Where's the drama? I guess the drama is like, oh, what if Evil beats Sonata? Ooh, that could set up. But like, no, it's not.
The Evil Sonata thing peaked when what's it called? Dick Togo did the very cartoonish elbow drop through the table at Wrestle Kingdom.
At Wrestle Kingdom,
they should have fucking ended it there, and then It's like when they run Roman Reigns versus Seth
Rollins. But at
Rollins
least you can think of you can conceive a world in which Shingo wins the G1, right?
Yeah.
You can conceive of a world where any of the young guys win, probably not Narita, I guess, but
Shota or Yoda.
But Shota, Yoda, or Kaito, you can conceive a world where all three of them win the G1.
But no, we're
cannot
Evil.
conceive one with Hikuleo, right? So
no,
Jamie, we've talked a lot here. Murph and I have been going back and forth.
Jamie, you go.
Add here.
It's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. It is definitely worse than the Hikuleo one, just because like at least Hikuleo, to his credit, I don't think he's very good at all, but at least he's had some decent matches this year, granted with like very good opponents. But if you make it through to the knockout stages, you can have some good matches as well with some some of the best that make it through. Evil, with the style he works, is like, barring like a miracle, is not going to have a match worthy of being in this knockout stage. Another thing that I thought made it even more baffling is before the match started, there's the announcement that in the event of a Shingo win, I believe, we're going to have a little bonus match with Shingo and Tama Tonga, and the crowd comes up for it. They're like, oh,
yeah, they're like, woo, that sounds awesome.
This is exciting. We're getting a little bonus main event. No,
nope,
no, you're not fucking getting it. No, Evil's winning. I mean,
like, did Shingo get hurt or something like that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
I try to observe this word. but this was fucking promotional malpractice. I try and not use that term as much as I can, but this saying that and then doing this promotional malpractice.
So
yeah,
here's where we stand after 3 nights. After 3 nights of the block finals, we got one more night of D block tomorrow in about 8 hours or so. But I'll just go over the quarterfinals real quick. Sonata and Evil is one of them. Finley and Ospreay is one of them. It will almost certainly be Okada versus Naito as one of the quarters, and then it'll probably be Hikuleo versus either Jeff Cobb or Zack Sabre Jr. As the other one, if we are operating under the assumption that we think Naito is going to win. So here's the show tomorrow. Yano versus Coughlin, they're both eliminated, obviously. And then the next 3 all have implications. So Jeff Cobb versus Shane Haste, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hiroki Goto, and Tetsuya Naito versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Cobb, Sabre, and Naito are all tied at 8 points. If all 3 of them win, Cobb and Naito advance because they both beat Sabre. If Sabre wins and Naito or Cobb loses, Sabre advances. If Sabre wins and Naito and Cobb lose, Sabre and Cobb advance. And then if Goto upsets Sabre, then it will be Naito and Goto. Wait a minute, I got that wrong there. Oh, and Cobb. So yeah, the only way for Goto to advance is if Goto and Naito win and Cobb and Sabre lose. That's the only way there. But yeah, so I
at
guess
this point I wouldn't put
it
past them. I can't expect anything in this tournament anymore.
So I guess I was mistaken. For some reason, I had it in my head that Naito lost to both Sabre and Cobb. That's not true. So if it's Sabre and Naito, then it will be Okada versus Sabre and Naito versus Hikuleo. And if it's Cobb and Naito, it'll be Okada versus Naito and Cobb versus Hikuleo. Does that make sense? I hope that's clear to everybody. But I'm thinking I predicted Cobb and Naito from the start, but I mean 2 of the 3 nights have been completely baffling in terms of the results. So you never know. Maybe they'll fucking throw Goto in there just because. I don't think, even though Tanahashi's only 2 points behind, I actually don't think he has even a shot of making it, except for maybe like in a draw scenario. So that's the situation. What do you guys think it'll be? Naito? I think we all think it'll be Naito, but Cobb or Sabre? What do you guys think?
I'm leaning towards Sabre, just because he's a faction leader. He's probably more pushed with the 2 guys. But that's kind of my only thing going into it. I know they really like Cobb, and I wouldn't mind either way because I really like both of them. But I'm gonna lean towards Sabre, but with Naito definitely making it through.
I'll go Jeff Cobb just to be a devil's advocate.
Yep, I was thinking Cobb from the start. So this is so then we immediately the following day have the quarterfinals in Funabashi. Or actually in Chiba at Funabashi Arena. And then the semis and the finals are at Sumo Hall in Tokyo on Saturday and Sunday. So this time next week, we will have our G1 winners. What do we think? You predicted Naito from the start, right? Right, Jamie?
Yeah.
And then Murph, who did you have? You had Shingo, didn't you?
I had Ospreay.
You had Ospreay. That's right. You had Ospreay over Shingo in the final, which I loved.
Wow, that would have been awesome, but
I know, how good would that have been, huh? I had Okada from the start, so I mean, both so all 3 of us, at least our picks are still in it. Yeah, we'll
I'm gonna do a bonus prediction because that's what at this point of the tournament, Dave Finlay's gonna make the final.
You think Dave Finlay's gonna make the final?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, my thought process with Naito, I think I mentioned it when we kind of started. It's basically like the LIJ thing with Sonata, and also with the 2 guys that you've both picked, Okada and Ospreay. Just looking at it from kind of like you know, winners here is going to make it to the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. I can see other things for those 2. I feel like Ospreay's, unless he's losing that US title,
right? He's the US champion.
Big time defense there, and then Okada. I mean, we're not doing the Kaito match in the G1. So, are they going to extend it to like Wrestle Kingdom? I mean, it's a Wrestle Kingdom worthy match. I don't know whether they can, they could extend it up to there, with maybe something in between. But I mean, yeah, it could even be like a Danielson rematch if he's fit, but I don't know what his timetable is looking like. But, I feel like both of those two are going to have something else. So I feel like Naito is my pick.
All right, everybody. That's our G1 coverage. That's our New Japan coverage for the week. I am really looking forward to this weekend just to see. I mean, it's even with our frustrations. I mean, we will. The quarters probably won't be great. I'm sure whatever they end up choosing as the main event, because it'll either be Okada versus Naito or Okada versus Saber in the main event, and I'm sure that'll be the main event, right? Unless it's like Finley Ospreay, I guess they could do that. But either one of those matches should be a great main event for the quarters, even if a couple of the matches, the Evil and Hikuleo matches, don't end up being great. And hopefully Hikuleo and Evil are out in the quarters. And once we get to semis, it's like Sonata versus Okada and then Naito versus Ospreay or something like that, or Cobb versus Ospreay or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. It's Sumo Hall. I mean, you can't just put anybody in Sumo Hall, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to let's do a little Stardom update. Not the most newsworthy week. Well, I guess there was some news for the promotion, but just chugging along through that 5-star GP. Let's start with Kyrie. All right. PW Insider this Saturday, right before the start of SummerSlam, reported that Kyrie Hojo, is returning to WWE. She's agreed to terms to return to WWE. And then she had a press conference that night. Jamie, I didn't follow this super closely. Did you get some of the details of this?
I caught a little bit. I may have, it was kind of, different translations and stuff, but I got the gist of it, basically.
Sure.
So,
go for it.
By the sound of it, she's going to be taking, anyway, the PW Insider report claims that she's agreed terms. It also mentioned that she could appear like imminently. So a lot of people were kind of thinking like SummerSlam,
Yeah, I thought she was going to be on the show.
Yeah, I thought she was going to help Asuka, but in the press conference, Kairi mentioned that she's going to be still working in Japan and then taking a hiatus until starting from September. And in between that, she's got dates with she's got a big date with Sendai Girls. She's working All Japan in a tag match of Soriano against Unagi Sayaka and X. She also mentioned that she wants to finish with a match in Stardom against preferably someone who's been there from the start. My pick's Azumi because I wanted to.
That was who stood out to me as well.
Azumi. But yeah, there was also mention, and I don't know whether this was from the presser or from. I believe it was a separate report, but there's more that will come out of this that won't be revealed until 2024.
I think it was Sonny on the Observer board who said that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what this means. I mean, maybe Kyrie isn't returning until like the Rumble, in which case, that initial PW Insider report was slightly off on the timing. But yeah, it's. I mean, it's disappointing. I mean, I'm happy for her if she wants to go there, and I wish her all the success. We just got Io Sky, or former Io Shirai, winning the world title at SummerSlam. That was a great moment, and I liked seeing the reactions and stuff. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed, because she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and this run, she hasn't wrestled as frequently as I'd have liked, but almost everything has been like good to outstanding. We literally just had an amazing tag team match with Suri and Arisa Nakajima and Takumi Iroha, just like a few days before the news. So to get this, it's like, we're not getting too much more of it. But I mean, yeah, she wants to go back. So what can you do? But it's not ideal.
Yeah, this is pretty disappointing for me. I just don't like. I get that it's Triple H in charge. It's not Vince anymore, but the images of the end of Kairi's previous run are pretty disappointing. She got no real main roster run to any extent. She was tag champs with Asuka, and they, Charlotte was frankly unprofessional and unsafe in the match that they had, and Kairi was concussed, and Charlotte decided to powerbomb her anyway on the floor or through ladders or something. It was pretty preposterous. So that was pretty tough to see. And I don't like WWE. And when wrestlers I like join WWE, it means I watch them less. So pretty disappointed by this. Didn't really get the full run that I think a lot of people wanted or hoped for when she returned to Stardom. But we did get some very good matches out of this, and I would probably say the Mercedes match and the Mayu match late last year were my favorites of the run.
I'm devastated. I mean, she's my favorite women's wrestler of all time. I've talked about it all the time that I really am a huge KAIRI fan, and I don't really care about WWE too much, especially the WWE women's division, which is not the most impressive thing. So no, I'm not very happy about this, but you know, it's her decision, and she's probably getting a lot of money, so I cannot fault her for the decision, but it's still a very disappointing thing as a big fan of hers.
Yeah. I just got two things to add as well before we kind of move on. The first one's a little bit spiteful, but you know, she's going back to WWE. This is what she gets for being a drone. Nia Jax is going back too, so good luck with that one,
right.
KAIRI.
Yeah,
that's what you get. You know, going back to the
have fun wrestling Nia Jax.
And also, I mean, I believe you tweeted about it, Parker. But did you see the clip of what people believe to be KAIRI telling Natsupoi and Tam the news in the middle?
Oh my god, yeah, the clip. That's crazy. Like
I buy
again,
it.
I don't look into that stuff, but it's like so convincing. They're like celebrating the trio, the artists' title victory, and then KAIRI like grabs them both, and she says something, and both of their faces just drop immediately. They're like, oh my god.
It seemed pretty convincing.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. And then of course they drop him in the very next defense. So yeah, I mean, obviously, and it was weird because that was such a great team. KAIRI, Tam, and Natsupoi. I mean, that's a great trios title team. So
Jamie will know exactly what I'm talking about. Did you see the video of when Klopp told Trent that he's the new vice captain? It gave me the same vibes as those. It's just a video of you don't hear the audio and he's just saying something. I was like, oh yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was Natsupoi's reaction was kind of like, you know, she was a little bit disappointed, but she kind of like gave her a hug, you know, oh, I'm happy for you. Tam Nakano was like, you fucking drone.
Damn you.
She was so disappointed. And I mean, I think we've all kind of pointed out that it looked like they were building to an eventual red belt match, right? Where you'd assume Tam was going to get the win over KAIRI, get a win back from Wrestle Kingdom. Nope, she's going to the Fed, so you're not getting it. So I don't blame Tam for being a little bit pissed off if that was the case, which it looks like it was. But I mean, what can you do? I wish her success and stuff. I hope she gets you know, the right kind of push that she deserves.
All right, let's get into some block action here. First, I have some super chats to get through. Six has a couple super chats for us. $1.99, just Natsupoi.
Thanks, Six.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I agree. Yep, I concur. Could not agree. Gentlemen. Yes. And then also $1.99, Mick KAIRI Mousane running from the grind. It's true. It's true. Yeah. You could have been in this 5-star. You decided not to be. You drone. And then $5 super chat from DN Maz. Will Ospreay has had far too great of a year. If his G1 ends with losses to David Finlay and Camacho, I'm going to cry myself to
Camacho.
See. Yeah. He did lose to Camacho. That's pretty crazy. And I don't think. Well, see, that's a weird match. It's never champ against US champ. And I think US champ is higher up on the pecking order. So maybe I just really want Ospreay to like just more Ospreay matches. That's just all I want is more Ospreay matches. So yeah, he was in the final. That's
what everyone wants.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised. All right. So yes, we had a couple 5-star GP shows this weekend. I liked every single match that I watched from them this weekend. On day 4, on Saturday, this was in Komatsu. This was Mirai beating Azumi. Solid match, good near falls, nothing crazy. Suzu Suzuki beat Starlight Kid via German suplex bridge. Another good match, 2 talented up-and-comers, right? 2 very young wrestlers. Then in the main event, Maika versus Saori Ano went to a draw, which I thought was the match of the night. Really physical and intense. There's a water fight in the middle. There's some hatred there. Ano's really good at bringing out the hatred in the wrestlers that she takes on. But solid show for the 5-star GP.
Yeah, I agree with every match on the show in terms of the 5-star stuff being pretty good. The the main event with Micah and Arrow, kind of like a lot of water-based offense. I believe I've seen a few people mention I don't know where were they again? Remind me for this show.
Komatsu, I think.
Yeah, apparently it was really hot, and the AC didn't work.
Oh, really?
They had to, and they they were set to go for a draw, so they were like, "Oh, fuck it,"
Like, screw it, let's cool off.
Yeah, so that a creative way to get around it, but yeah, I thought it was a really fun main event, and Soriano's first 2 5-star GP matches have been in there with 2 of the most brutal on the roster in terms of like hard hitting strikes and offense, and they've gone the distance. So not the easiest start, but she's been great. She's a great addition to Stardom.
She's awesome. I
love Stardom.
Did you watch the show, Murph? Did you catch up on the 5-star this weekend?
I have not. I was too busy. I watched the N1 and the G1 and the Gleet. I was not able to get the program this weekend.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just checking. And then the following day, we were in Hamamatsu. Now this show drew like 700. This was a good crowd. Mina Shirakawa beat Hanan via the figure 4. Azumi upset Soriano with this was cool. I thought it was a cool finish. She had a destroyer into the Azumi Sushi, which was a pretty convincing finish there. Big upset in the semi-main event. Natsuko Tora beat Shuri pretty much clean via top rope senton. Tora's so much better when she just wrestles and they take away the heel stuff, and she's just a powerhouse out there. I thought Tora looked really good here, and it's hard to not look great in a match against Shuri, but still I was impressed by this. And then Tam versus Hazuki in the main event. Tam got the victory with the Violet Screwdriver. Big time main event, lived up to the billing. Tam still hasn't lost. Looking forward to seeing who ends up beating the World of Stardom champion. But I thought another really good show here, Jamie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you talk about that crowd that they had in there. I think the second and third nights, obviously we had the opener night, which is a good crowd, but the second and third nights, I thought the crowd was a little bit lackluster in terms of I did too. How okay they were and stuff. And it's certainly this crowd here certainly benefited a lot of them. Hanan obviously didn't get the win, and I think she's in there for experience and kind of getting in there against some of the top people. But she benefits a lot when the crowd are behind her, that babyface energy. And then just all the other stuff. I think Azumi's high speed style is like perfectly suited for these round robin tournaments where you've got a constrained time limit. She gets to work her magic in there. And that Tora match I thought was one of Tora's best performances in a little while. I think she's been great actually since coming back from the injury, especially since the big Oedo Tai Queen's Quest cage match. I think she's been great. And in terms of like a big heel, kind of like hot in there, contrasting to Evil in the G1. Not too much interference, but if any, in fact, the only kind of like really like kind of against the rule book thing she did was the mist, but even then it's not like crazy interference and stuff. But she's a great powerhouse, and again, like I say, against Shuri, who's super consistent always, especially in the 5-star. It was always going to be good. And then again, another super consistent wrestler, Hazuki, maybe one of the most consistent wrestlers in the world. I don't think she ever fails to deliver against Tam, and just another great match. It's definitely one I'd like to see as a red belt match. But saying that, I would like to see Hazuki maybe win a singles title at some point. So I don't know how many more singles title losses I can take, but it would be a great match if we got one with a bit longer time.
Yeah. So Stardom keeps chugging along. We don't really obviously have a picture of the standings yet because we're still early.
I have the stands as it stands. If you want me to,
I was just gonna say that I don't think they tell us much right now because, it's going to change. For example, like Utami's wrestled once, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hanan's wrestled 4 times, so they don't really tell us much yet. We'll be keeping up with standings a little bit more in the coming weeks once the picture starts to clear up and when we start to get a sense of who's going to be in contention on the final few nights. So yeah, but I'm just loving it so far. Like, wow, the lights just went off in my apartment. What the fuck? That was weird. That was spooky. It's Sting.
It's Megan Bane.
Megan Bane. Yeah, the Megasaurus. Where is she?
Megasaurus. Megasaurus.
Yeah, Megasaurus. I mean, she's a monster. What can I say? All right. Anyway, by the way, I was gonna preview this, but I forgot to write down the card. I guess I have it here. There's a pay-per-view this weekend, y'all, in Stardom. Right? Or am I wrong?
I mean,
yeah. Stardom X
There's a
Stardom.
pay-per-view every
Osaka.
weekend.
Right,
Yeah, Stardom X Stardom is this weekend in Stardom, the Megan Bayne title match. So I'm gonna go over the block action really quickly because there is a couple in the meantime. On Thursday, the 10th, it's Suzu versus Tora, and it's Mayu versus Natsupoi in what should be the main event. I mean, that's a great match there. And then on Saturday, it's Azumi versus Hanan, Julia versus Mina, which is a fun one. I'm really looking forward to this one. Whoa. And Utami versus Ano. So
that'd be crazy.
Yet another, like, all these shows, they're just so damn stacked. They're so great. So yes, Sunday, here's the card. I'm going to go reverse order here. Tam Nakano defending the World of Stardom Championship against Megan Bayne, who I haven't seen all of her tag matches, but what I have seen, she seems to be really just over as an act, as an attraction. So I'm looking forward to this.
That's what you want.
Yep, exactly. Still, I mean, it's a big test to be in a big-time singles match here against Tam. I want to say this is Ideon Osaka Arena #2, which is a pretty big venue, but they usually have hot crowds, so hopefully it's great. My main event on this show is Mayu versus Utami for the IWGP Women's title. That's been a protected match, and it's an exciting one. Julia versus Yu for the strong title. Rose Gold versus Natsupoi and Ano for the Goddess title. I mean, that's a great match too. Saki versus Koguma for the high speed title. We have one 5-star GP block match, and that's Starlight Kid versus Tora. So some intra Oedo Tai matchups there, and then we have like a 10-team gauntlet match where you've got, like, you know, Suzu and Mei Sara in there. You've got Mirai and Ami Sourei, right? So you got some good teams in there. But this is a good card. It's a streamlined card. It's a condensed card. Jamie, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, it should be a super fun one. I'm very intrigued by the Megan Bayne title match. I've seen a few highlights from kind of the tag she's been in. She looks super impressive, to be honest. I've not seen much in terms of like before she arrived in Stardom, but she's she's very imposing, very dominant. So it'll be interesting to see how she fares against Tam. I don't think there's going to be a title change, but I mean, I don't know. No, I think Tam's retaining. The interesting one for me, like you said, is that IWGP title match. Mayu's not defended it since picking it up in April, so it's a first defense. I think it's a tough one. I think the winner, the result of this match heavily affects my 5-star prediction, because I feel like Utami might be winning this, even though Mayu it's a first defense. But if Utami is winning this, then I no longer think she's winning the 5-star, because I think if Utami was to win the 5-star, she'd beat Tam, and I don't see her doing the double title thing. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But regardless, the match should be amazing. These are two of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And yeah, the other stuff, the tag title match looks good. It's another one where it's one of the first defenses for one of the teams in Stardom, and they're against such a good team that I wouldn't mind the title change, but I also want them to have a nice reign. So it's a tough one. The Julia title match as well should be really nice.
I have a big prediction.
Okay.
I think we see the rise of the Megasis. I think Megan Bayne will become the new World of Stardom champion. I mean, Rossi in the past has shown that he likes a Gaijin champion. Sometimes it happened by chance, due to an injury, but I think that Rossi goes back to his old roots, and I think a Gaijin champion rises, and the rise of the Megasis happens. So I'm going to go with Megan Bayne defeating Tam Nakano.
I really want there to be a tag title change. I think Natsupoi and Ano are just a great team. They're just two great wrestlers. They have so much history together. They like look the same pretty much. They just fit, and it's almost like, I wonder if this is a bit of consolation for what was intended to be a long artist of Stardom reign between Tam and Kyrie and Natsupoi. Maybe they throw Natsupoi a bone here with the tag titles, but we'll see. We will see. And I frankly just like them better as wrestlers than Mina and Mariah at this point. But it's not like I don't like Rose Gold, so that's good stuff. And then, is there any other Stardom? Yes. I mean, we won't be able to watch this show. By the way, there was a show today. Micah versus Momo, Julia versus Mariah May, Shuri versus Natsupoi, and Mayu versus Suzu. Same thing will happen next week. The show on Tuesday that we won't be able to watch. I mean, this is stacked too. This is Momo versus Ano. Mina. So Rose Gold explodes. Mina versus Mariah May. Utami versus Azumi. Shuri versus Hazuki. And Tam versus Mayu in the main.
It's crazy.
Like, this is just on a Tuesday.
Yeah, we said it when this tournament was starting, but like New Japan, take notes. Look at these lineups for these Stardom, the 5-star shows. There's like no fluff, You had some great matches in the G1 blocks, but you also had a lot of matches that we really didn't need to sit through, and that is just not the case with the 5-star so far, and it looks like it's going to continue. So I mean, it's this condensed format with like, just only the people that really need to be in there. It's just way better.
All right, let's switch gears here. Let's head to the Arc. Let's go to Pro Wrestling Noah.
And
they kicked off the N1 victory this past weekend in Yokohama at the Yokohama Budokan. By the way, so they drew 804 fans to this show.
Jesus Christ.
And then New Japan also ran the Yokohama Budokan today, which was a Tuesday, not a national holiday, and they drew 2,300 people.
Noah's not in a great spot right now.
Noah's not. I love Jake Lee, but he might not be the one to save.
I don't think he's the
guy. Ostensibly, the winner of this tournament takes the title off Jake Lee and brings Noah back to their glory. But I'm not going to go through every single match here, but we will highlight a couple of them. Manabu Soya beat Katsuhiko Nakajima in an upset in the opener here via jumping DDT. I thought this was the best match of the night. Super physical, former Congo stablemates, bit of hatred, but it wasn't like a blood feud or anything, just very physical, not holding back. And Soya, he won that Rumble. You remember that Rumble that they were doing?
Yeah.
So Soya won it, and then he beats Nakajima on the opening night. So a really strong start.
That was
to
fun.
The tournament for him.
Yeah. I really like this one. I think Soya is someone who I'm really looking forward to seeing, like, what the future holds for him coming out to Congo. So this was a big win for him, and nice hard hitting stuff. And I thought, okay, this is a good strong start, setting the pace. Nothing touched this, unfortunately.
Nope.
Yeah. So yeah.
I did not think this show ended up being very good overall.
No, it was a big disappointment.
Jack Morris beat Yoshiki Inamura with the Cobra Twist. Lance Anoa'i in his first Noah singles match, he beat Yuma Anzai of All Japan in his first Noah singles match with the Samoan Splash. Yuki Yoshioka, this was a good one. This was probably my second favorite match on the show. Yuki Yoshioka beat Masa Kitamiya with the Inferno. Big win for a Dragon Gate guy, Murph.
As you know, very happy.
Yeah, the way they structure Dragon Gate wrestlers in Japan is they're just presented as juniors for the most part. So to beat an established heavyweight like Kitamiya, he was a tag champion earlier this year, is a big deal for Yuki Yoshioka.
Huge deal. I was very excited with the result of this match. You won with the Inferno. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this match, and I'm happy Yuki is getting his shine in this, because I think Yuki's one of the best young wrestlers in all of Japan.
So Murph, we compare all these six, the Dragon Gate 6, right, to all these. They all kind of have parallels of older Dragon Gate wrestlers from the previous generation, and Yuki's often been compared to Yamato, right? They look super similar.
Some people say Yamato, some people say Susumu. I think Yamato.
Well, I was just thinking about the Noah connection, and Yoshioka has been such a workhorse since coming back that Mochi might be an appropriate connection for him if he continues to work.
Mochi's way more physical than Yuki is in a way, I think.
Well, I mean, I just saw it because he was just really physical in this match.
Yes,
I thought,
yes,
and in there with Kitamiya, and so I love that they make those connections across generations. And I mean, Mochi is always reinvigorated when he comes to Noah and when he's actually presented as a big deal. And if Yoshioka can be that guy for the next 15 years, I mean, that's exciting to me.
That's a hell of a deal.
All right, we had Ihode Dr. Wagner Jr. beating Daiki Inaba with the Wagner driver. Adam Brooks in an upset beat Keno with the Aussie driver. This was a good match here. Massive early win for Brooks. Brooks is presenting himself as a heel here. His big debut for pro wrestling. Noah Brooks was one of those guys who got lost in the shuffle during the pandemic because he was slated to come work for Ring of Honor. But obviously the pandemic changed things. He's Australian and he's finally starting to get his footing overseas out of his local area. And I thought this was solid.
I'm a big fan of Adam Brooks. I think he's really good. I think he has like the rugged, style where he's one of my favorites from Australia. And I'm really happy he's getting a shot in this tournament. I think he's going to have a really good tournament to surprise some people.
Yeah, just another thing on Brooks. Like you mentioned, it's good to see him finally getting some big opportunities and stuff. It's good to see him in this. I remember Zack Sabre Jr. mentioning that he kind of wanted to bring TMDK into Noah for a little bit. I can't remember where he said that. I would not mind at all seeing Adam Brooks link up with them. They're kind of another Aussie.
Well, they were a primarily Noah stable for a long time originally. Yeah. So
maybe something to watch.
We had Go Shiozaki beating Saxon Huxley with a lariat. The only reason this is particularly notable is that Huxley's a tag champ. So Go beats a tag champ. He can team with Nakajima and potentially challenge for the tag titles. And then in the main event, it was Jake Lee beating Timothy Thatcher with the FBS. I like this match better than most people, but it just wasn't a worthy Yokohama Budokan main event. Not a worthy main event to the kickoff of your tournament. It went 20 minutes and it just didn't feel like anything that crazy or interesting happened. I was kind of thinking that Jake Lee was on upset alert in there with Thatcher because Thatcher's a really protected guy and presented as a killer, but Jake Lee just got the win. So the losses in his block are going to have to come from somewhere else.
I didn't love it. I did not enjoy this match very much. I thought it was pretty boring. I like Jake, and I think Thatcher's pretty boring, but it was a fine match. Like, it wasn't fine. What am I saying? It was a very mid match, but the work was fine. It just they didn't grab me.
Irv's playing on Xbox.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I mean, we're all
YouTube comments on my Xbox.
Thanks.
We're all bigger Jake Lee fans than a lot of the majority, right? But I think Jake Lee's pretty methodical in his style, and then so when you pair him up with a guy like Thatcher, who is kind of very very technical, kind of grounds guys, I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's like a match made in heaven or anything. So not the ideal matchup, but I mean, just not a great night in terms of kicking the M1 off, other than the really hot opener.
Lee is great when he's in there with the supernovas of whatever promotion he's in there with, like Kento and Yuma Yagi and Kaito and Marufuji, who's still those have been his best matches over the last few years. And when he's in there with somebody who kind of matches his style, it just doesn't end up being that exciting a lot of the time. So yeah, I did not think this was a very good show. I did not think this was a great kickoff to the N1. I still think if you compared last year's lineup to this year's lineup, the difference is stark in terms of quality. I get prioritizing younger guys, but they have to be really good. They have to be not so much worse than people like Takashi Sugiura and Masato Tanaka and Masaki Mochizuki that you start to miss them. Right. Hideki Suzuki was in the final of the tournament last year. He's not in it. Obviously Kaito is in New Japan right now, but the tournament's over. So why couldn't he have been in it? You know what I mean? But I don't know. Not loving it so far, but I will watch every N1 match and we'll give you the updates as they come through. But this didn't make me think, hey, we need to spend a lot of time on this tournament every single week. This made me think, hey, I'll just maybe read the results, and if anything notable happens, we'll let you know. Okay, so with the N1 coming up, I don't have the full match orders, but I do have the main events for the next week. Tonight, Nakajima versus Saxon Huxley.
That sounds like a barn burner.
A couple interesting matches on this show are Jake Lee versus Yuki Yoshioka and Go Shiozaki versus Yuma Anzai. Should be a lot of fun.
Watching Jake Lee pin Yuki Yoshioka is just gonna rip the soul out of my body.
Well, it's three straight nights in Korakuen, so maybe that adds some excitement. A good set of matches on day 3, the second night of the Korakuen stop here. The main event's Keno versus Yoshiki Inamura. That should be quite good, I would think. I thought the best match of last year's N1 was Keno versus Hideki Suzuki, which happened to be in the main event of Korakuen. So Keno and Korakuen Hall in the N1 has been good. Katsuka Nakajima versus Ihode Dr. Wagner Jr. is also on that show.
There is a Paxton Huxley, something like that. NXT. What's her name?
Saxon Huxley. Oh, Tatum Paxley.
Wait. Yeah, Tatum Paxley. Yeah.
There you go. So it's kind of like.
Huxley was in NXT UK though, right? I'm not making that.
Right. He was in NXT UK. Yeah. And then Jake Lee versus Adam Brooks is on that show too. And then in the last night of the Korakuen Hall stops, this is Friday. Is it? Yeah, it's Friday. Go Shiozaki versus Dr. Wagner Jr. Ihode Dr. Wagner Jr. is the main event there. Keno versus Yoshioka is also on that show. So I'm looking forward to that.
I feel like the Keno Yoshioka match might have some Dragon Gate implications based on Keno's. So I wouldn't be surprised if Yuki Yoshioka got a win in that and Keno came back and they did some sort of return or a tag or something like that. But Keno's been a Dragon Gate semi-regular this year, so I hope that continues.
Night 1 of the N1 victory to me just felt like establishing the new faces and just setting the tone more than great matches. Each of these Korakuen Hall shows have more exciting matches than I would say anything on night 1. So hopefully the standard moves up. I mean, I'm not gonna throw Noah away on one show. I still think
here's my analysis of the whole thing. I think they're kind of doing a very similar thing to what DDT did when they took all the old guys.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's the bad move. And, thankfully Noah's young guys are the guys they brought in, Yumanza, Yoshioka, and their young guys are a little better than the guys that DDT brought in for the tournament. But I think it's a really bad decision. I mean, Takashi Sugiura, Hideki Suzuki, even Funaki would have made this tournament a little more interesting. So I do have to say that I disagree with that move, and Noah, and I bet you guys agree.
Yeah. We had Gleet from Sumo Hall this past week. This was a big show. I thought this was a really fun show.
The Last Dance.
Overall. The Last Dance. Farewell, Gleet. They drew 2,200 to
Has the promotion
Hall.
Ever done their last show at Sumo Hall?
I'm not sure about that. That seems like something that like IGF would have done or something like that.
That's an awesome show.
So anyway, I'll just read through some results. I don't think there's nothing here that we really need to spend like a ton of time on outside of, I would say, the last 2 matches, but everything here I thought was fun for the most part. So we had, I will say, except the kickboxing rules match between Nao and Maya Fukuda. I thought Fukuda was fucking terrible. I thought it was one of the worst matches I've seen all year. I love Maya Fukuda, that's wifey, but
Maya Fukuda's too cute to be doing that.
She's a little too cute. We did have Akihiro Gono, a shoot fighter, beat Tetsuya Izuchi in what appeared to be a shoot MMA fight.
It felt like it.
Gono got his jaw broken. Jamie, I know you watch MMA. I don't think either of us could locate the moment where he got his jaw broken. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, so I was kind of popping in the Respirers group chat. I was before I'd seen some of the other stuff from the week, but I had, after seeing this performance, I had Gono down as one of my Beast of the Week contenders because he fucking schooled. It was a very dominant performance. I likened it to a Floyd Mayweather exhibition fight, in that he was kind of, he was fooling around in there. He wasn't really taking any damage. So we thought. You see this picture of
his
him
jaw was cooked.
It's completely broken, like shattered.
Like you said, there was no kind of like, there was no moments in the fight where it looked like that happened. There was no, to be honest, it didn't look like he took any damage at all.
Yeah, it looked like he was just toying with him.
Yeah, but so that eliminated him from the Beast of the Week contention for me, because he wasn't as dominant as I thought he was. But I mean, it was definitely a sight to behold, these kickboxing MMA fights on the Gleet show.
See, I thought I loved Tetsuya Izuchi. He's my favorite guy in Gleet. I mean, obviously he lost here and he was never going to win here, but I thought he absorbed like a pretty decent amount of punishment.
It was very ballsy.
Pop back. Yeah, he was. My guess is they did this. They were like, okay, guys, this is a fight. Like, it's legit. Anything can happen. So be prepared. But Gono, here's your pay. Make Izuchi look good a little bit. And I think that was part of the idea. And Izuchi was obviously told, take some punishment, fire back. And he did that. So I enjoyed this. It's not what I want out of wrestling, like at all, but at least Izuchi, I didn't think Izuchi was like so out of his league in this fight that it was like, oh man, what are we even doing here?
As a huge pride mark, pride is one of my favorite, things ever. And this gave me a very warm feeling, oh my God, this is like pride. But I feel like it didn't go far enough where, it was the whole show, like Inokiism. So, and Inokiism is bad. Don't let people tell you it was good. But what's it called? No, this was, I like this a lot. I don't love UWF style matches, but I do love shoot fights. So, one of these a show, never hurt anyone, and I was a big fan of it.
What they should do, they need Izuchi and Izuka to do a shoot fight. Like, that's what I want. Yeah, like
that would be awesome.
It's literally the best like sub minute or sub 2 minutes match ever. The one that they had last year.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, if they just it was awesome. And so I would love to have them do that. We quickly have a $5 super chat here from bruh 3x. Norman Rockwell he's like, this is a Norman Rockwell painting meme. I believe Hikuleo will have a good match in the next round. Also, what did y'all, Murph, think of LA Knight and Miz? Oh God.
Take it away.
All I will say is
imitation.
That just wait a little later into the show and I'll give you my full thoughts on everything.
Cringe. Soy and cringe.
I don't understand what you don't like about LA Knight. I'll never understand it.
I don't understand what people do like about LA Knight. Like,
he awesome.
Says, yeah.
No, he's like, you only see the clips. You don't see the full promos. How good he is.
Okay.
I get both sides of it. I'm more on par.
Whose game is it?
Because my favorite thing about the wrestling is the wrestling, Yeah, but I do get why people are like is like just the confidence and the charisma. But
he's like a throwback to the Attitude Era.
If you could like have good matches as well, then
I don't know. Him and Sheamus were hooping.
Oh, congrats! You hooped with Sheamus.
Except when Sheamus boxed his big move, so Sheamus fucked it up.
Stop it!
I could have a good match with Sheamus.
No.
Yeah. Sorry, he's muted for a little bit. We're gonna move on and we're gonna talk more. We're gonna talk more Gleet here.
Whose game is it?
What?
Whose game is it?
Okay, good one. We had Quiet Storm's 25th anniversary match. He teamed with Masakatsu Funaki for some reason.
This was beast.
Some Michinoku pro guys. Quiet Storm is so funny. He looks like a little person. Like he's so like.
I thought the exact same thing.
His body proportions are so weird.
He's like Jack Cartwheel, but like evolved. He's like a Jack Cartwheel. Like little guy. He wears the wristband.
He's got the tassels.
Yeah. Honestly, Quiet Storm has been around for so long in Japan. He probably has like a wife and family in Japan by now.
Oh yeah, he lives in Osaka. Yeah,
he's been in Japan for so long. He probably just like the local guy. I don't know his shoot name, but they're probably like, "Hey, what's up? Quiet Storm's here. And like, I love Quiet Storm. What a guy who's just made a living in Japan being a mid wrestler, but he's just looks so funny that you want to root for him.
Parker, I'm so happy you mentioned that about Quiet Storm. I was going crazy. I was like, I wanted to make it.
His legs are so short.
I was like frantically googling like Quiet Storm.
He looks like a tree.
I don't want to like an insensitive joke. In case he actually was, I was about to say like, he's like the biggest like.
No, he's just a dude.
Little person ever.
He's like a shrunken Brian. If you like took Brian Cage with your 2 fingers and shrunk him, that's Quiet Storm.
We had Dash Chisako, Kyoko Inoue, Unagi Sayaka, and Yukari Hosokawa, not Hoshioka, Hosokawa, beating Michiko Miyagi, Janai Kai, Aoi, and Risa Sera. This was like really short. It was alright.
Janai Kai is not very good. Didn't like it.
Yeah. All right. Get her. Make sure you throw that in there. Black Generation. Sorry. You go ahead, Jamie.
I was going to say they debuted the heel faction. The heel team is a new faction, that Diamond Egoist.
Yeah,
and then had them
Diamond Egoist.
They had a flag.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, at least we're doing something here. And then they lost, so I was like, what? Why should I care?
Cool faction.
I actually really like Yukari Hosokawa, the former Rin Rin. I'm a big
Rin
fan.
Rin.
I think she has a lot of potential, and I actually think she's pretty good.
My favorite Choco Pro curtain jerker.
Rin Rin.
Rin Rin. Yeah. Fuck Choco Pro. Black Generation International beat the team of Kento Miyahara, Jack Cartwheel, Shigehiro Irie, and Junjie. This was pretty fun. Cartwheel was really over. He was able to do some cool stuff.
He's good. I disagree with people who say he's bad. I like him.
No, I like him. I like him. He's great in Japan, where people really give him the props for like his stunts and stuff like that.
Stuff doesn't in Mexico. It doesn't really hit, but in Japan, it's great. I mean, what's it called? He's kind of an e-drone, but I'll look past that if you're that good enough. So I like Jack Cartwheel.
Back to the shoot fight discourse. Mavs Fan 84. Ronda Shayna was actually the worst
so
shoot
bad
fight I've ever seen. I don't know. You might want to check out the Maya Fukuda. I guess that wasn't a work, but
you're not wrong.
You might want to check that one out there, Mavs Fan 84. Let's see. This is a fun one. UWF Rules tag match. Minoru Suzuki and Shinya Aoki beat Fujita Hayato and Yu Izuka. Suzuki, I was like laughing
in a front face lock.
Yeah, the front. So Yu Izuka just put Suzuki in a front face lock, and I was like, "Come on, man! Like, come on, you're gonna die, bro." Yeah, this is good. Suzuki's like a perfect fit in Gleet, and yeah, good stuff.
I love them.
Saito Bros. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the UWF rules matches, but I do like.
Neither, but I enjoyed this.
I like it when they get guys that like totally fit the style. I mean, you've got,
well, and if they're like really good wrestlers, like everybody knows Suzuki and Fujita Hayato are like great wrestlers, right? So
I mean, and Suzuki is an Aoki as well for like legit MMA credentials as well. So they feel like at home in that kind of style.
The father of Pancrase. We had the Saito Bros. I thought shockingly retaining the G Infinity tag titles over Ryuichi Kawakami and Galeno Del Mal. This is all right. I don't really like Voodoo Murder's Saito Bros. I think they can be good still, but I really thought there'd be a title change here. Kawakami was like their first really pushed guy in the promotion, and he's just done nothing. Like, he was hurt for a little while, and then he's ostensibly the leader of like Bulk Orchestra, which is their top stable, but they don't like, he hasn't won a title or anything. Or I think he was maybe tag champs with Hayato Tamura for like 2 weeks, and then they lost him to stablemate. So I don't really know what's going on with that.
I have to stop the Voodoo Murders agenda. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Well, thankfully it's literally just the Saito Bros, Kono, and Ryuji Hijikata or Toshizo.
They got rid of the best part, Big Taru.
Well, yeah, Taru might die, so that might be.
Taru's not looking good.
The Coelacanths, the old guys, Shima, Minoru, and Kaz Hayashi beat Hiromu Takahashi of New Japan, Atsuki Aoyagi of All Japan, and Jun Tansho. This is a good match, and I'm loving Hiromu wrestling everywhere.
Hiromu and Desperado should just wrestle everywhere. Like, it's like they're so good wherever they go.
This is where we started to get, I thought, two really good matches. The final two matches were, I thought, both great. T-Hawk successfully defended the G-Rex championship over Hayato Tamura. Took a while to get going, but once it did, it was great. T-Hawk has some of the best closing sequences in wrestling. And yeah, he's just the man. I mean, he is the guy. If I was booking, I love it when promotions, their world champion is the person who I would have as the world champion. And if I was booking Gleet,
he needs to get in the G1 next year. He needs it. Like, it's like so needed.
He was in the finals of the Champion Carnival this year.
He's so good. Like, he's just like people have a bad taste in their mouth because, you know, Shima booked them like Roman Reigns, but like, you know, T-Hawk's the man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match as well. I kind of agree that it got off to a little bit of a slow start, but once it built up, it was like really super hard hitting, fast paced. I really like Hayato as well. I think I haven't been like totally keeping up with the booking of Gleet and stuff, so I wasn't sure whether to expect a title change or whatever. But I wouldn't mind it either way. But yeah, just solid stuff.
Hayato's weird. He won the 0-1 World Heavyweight title in like his 15th career match or something like that. And then he left 0-1 and went to Gleet, and people thought he was going to be pushed, and he hasn't really. I mean, he was tag champs for a while with Czech, but that's about it. This match went 26 minutes. This was a long match. In the main event, this match went 36 minutes. This is just a crazy. I love reading this lineup because it's so crazy.
Insane.
Kota Ibushi, Shuji Ishikawa, Daisuke Sekimoto, Hagane Shino, and Yumehiro Imanari beat El Lindemann. This is the Gen Z team, not Zebrats though. El Lindemann, Kaito Ishida, Soma Watanabe, Takanori Ito, and Czech Shimatani. I thought this was a ton of fun. I thought it was the best match of the night.
I have a bunch of thoughts on this.
Yeah, go for it.
The first thing is Yumehiro Imanari. I'm a big fan of, and I
he's awesome.
Gambari Pro just because he's so much fun, and when he's not like being a pervert, like he's the best. Like he's a lot of fun to wrestle. They announced Kota Ibushi as from AEW, which really popped me. Like that got me really excited because I'm really hoping he's on the Wembley card. I think he will be, but it would be really awesome if he is. But really the standout for me was Imanari. He's so much good. Like everything he does is so smooth, great baby face, and everyone else is good. Even Shino, I give him shit, but he was pretty good in this. I had a lot of fun with this match, and I really like the dynamic of being like the old but not really old guys versus the young guys. So I really did enjoy this match a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agreed. I thought it was fun stuff. I agree with Imanari being the standout, which I think is it's kind of funny because I mentioned last week, like going into this, Ibushi's whole thing, the whole dynamic of their team is they're all over 40, but Imanari's 37, and Ibushi's like he's almost there. So him being like the MVP of that team was fun stuff. The only kind of like downside to this is I think Ibushi wasn't like his top best, but he was. I believe he mentioned that he was ill the day before.
Yes.
So it's not surprising that he was.
He's on his way. He's almost there.
I don't think he's been that noticeably.
I thought he was great in Blood and Guts.
You just don't. It's just not in. We haven't seen him in a big, high-profile singles match because the Mike Bailey match was Bloodsport and the Joey Janela match was Joey Janela.
I know some people didn't like his physique. I don't really care about that, to be honest with you. I don't watch wrestling like that. I just want my guys to look good.
He's still like pretty shredded. Like,
he wasn't like insanely shredded. So people were worried.
Yeah, he's not as cut up as he used to be, but yeah. This was his first match in Japan in 2 years. He was obviously the story throughout. Lots of memorable spots. The two that stood out the most were obviously the moonsault off the balcony, and then he's got Czech Shimatani and like a scorpion deathlock essentially, and Ishida comes in and slaps him across the face, and Ibushi does the Ibushi thing where there is no emotion on his face. It's not even like he's gritting his teeth. He's just like bored. And then Ishida pisses him off so much that he modifies on Czech, locks him in essentially just a single leg crab, cranks on it, Czech immediately taps, and then Ishida like drops him, starts fighting Ishida. It was pretty great. So I thought this was a lot of fun. A successful show for Gleet, for Sumo Hall, at least in terms of the quality. So
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Just one thing before we move on from Gleet. So when we do the match ratings, right? So I'm now in charge of like procuring the list of matches that we rate. And when I put forward the two like closing matches from the Gleet show, Monty was like, I'm trying to do a Brummie accent. He was like, really, Gleet? I can't do it.
Really?
Really, Gleet? He was like, how big was it? And I had to be like, they ran Sumo Hall, and they were probably this was probably one of their last shows ever. So this is my last chance to get a Gleet show on the match screen. So he let it slide.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, just booking Sumo Hall and all the high profile wrestlers' fees they had, plus you're paying people bonuses to do a fight, right? Like that's. I don't think they made money on this show.
Figures on this. They dropped more than 6 figures on the show.
I don't
know if they got 6 figures back. Yeah.
All right, we're running low on time. I do want to briefly talk about.
Do a quick DG update.
Well, yeah. So I'll just run it down and you give me your reaction, Murph. How's that?
Perfect.
We had the semis and finals of King of Gate this past Thursday. It was in the semis. Big Boss Shimizu beat the Dream Gate champion Madoka Kikuta in a great match. Then in the following match, Kota Minoura beat Hyo to advance to the finals. And then, and I think it's not an upset in terms of kayfabe, but in terms of predictions, it is a bit of an upset. Although I did have an inkling that it was going to happen. Kota Minoura won King of Gate, beating Big Boss Shimizu at Korakuen Hall. Murph, what do you feel about all this?
First, Big Boss was immense, like awesome. This entire like tournament, Big Boss was.
I love the big. You know I love Big Boss. You know I love Shimizu.
Big Boss is just so different compared to anyone else in the promotion. So when he stands out, he really stands out. I really enjoyed this match, this show. Minoura needed this. Like Minoura is like last time trying to become the challenger for the Dream Gate. It was not very good. So now he needed a decisive like this. And at Dangerous Gate and Ota Ward, which is going to be a huge show. The card is stacked. But Kota Minoura and Madoka Kikuta will be very good. And we'll preview that show next week. But no, it was very successful. And there was another thing on this Korakuen. Tomohiro Ishii was announced to be on to Dangerous Gate, and this is his first time in the promotion, which is surprising considering he worked everywhere before he became a New Japan regular. So I'm very, very excited for this show, and I really feel very happy post Kobe World about how Dragon Gate is right now. I think they're really starting to get like their stride back to where they were pre-pandemic and at points in 2021.
I thought this tournament had some great matches, and that's just what that's what I want out of Dragon Gate is great matches. They have the storytelling down pat. They have the stories and the characters and all that.
And they have the wrestlers. They just need to execute. Yeah, that's really the biggest deal.
Anything to add here, Jamie?
I really enjoyed the matches that we got on the show. I kind of mentioned last week. I think I was with you on the Big Boss prediction, which obviously never ended up happening. But I did mention that if he was to beat Kikuta and then lose in the final, then barring a Minoura win over Kikuta before that happens, he should also get a title match coming up soon, and that's what we got. So I just thought it was great stuff.
So Dragon Gate usually runs a show called Gate of Origin between Dangerous Gate and Gate of Destiny. I would not be surprised if Shimizu challenged the Gate of Origin.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll see. So we'll preview Dangerous Gate next week. It's a great card, a very streamlined card too, kind of like the Stardom card this weekend, where it's just kind of all killer, no filler. Looking forward to that next week. And then finally, before we get to the Beast of the Week, the Tokyo Joshi Pro Tokyo Princess Cup finals are this weekend. The semis are, I don't even remember, Rika Tatsumi versus Yuki Kamifuku and Miyu Yamashita versus Yuki Arai. Goddamn.
I don't know. Like, if you start those matches, they're like, yay. And then you get to the second name and you're like, bro.
Yeah. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
This promotion can't do anything right. Like, they legitimately cannot do anything right.
Because it doesn't set up a challenger for Rika unless you're going to have Yuki Kamifuku make the finals of and it doesn't, and like, you can just keep having Yuki Arai get close and not make it. But are you going to have her, or you can have her beat Miyu Yamashita?
I've got a horrible feeling that she is.
Imagine the final is Yuki and Yuki v Yuki. Imagine that.
No,
That'd be
it's not. It's gonna
Miyu
be. It's gonna be.
Miyu Yamashita, who's got some like the best.
This promotion. Miyu Watanabe lost. You can't put it past them.
It's gonna be Miyu Yamashita. They haven't turned on Miyu Yamashita yet. That's the difference. Is they love their ace. They're. Did you guys know she's the pink striker? Did you guys know this?
Fucking worst promotion ever.
The storytelling promotion. All right, fellas.
You see, the Roman Reigns and Jey Uso was bad, but I'd watch that shit fucking every time over the storytelling promotion. At least like Jimmy coming in is interesting. Like, what are you gonna do? Fucking bury anyone with any like sense of potential? I mean, Rossi. If I was Rossi, I'd come in and fucking take them all. Do it. Take them all. End this promotion. Yeah. Send it to the depths of hell. I'm done.
Yeah. But with that being said, were you going to say something, Jamie?
I was going to say like very, very quickly because I know we're kind of we're getting to the end of the podcast. 2 quick things. One, marvelous. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't understand at all.
Yeah,
and 2, Yuma Aoyagi versus Suwama was nice. We forgot to talk about that.
Yeah. You spoiled my goddamn Beast of the Week, but
I'm sorry.
But it's that time. It's the Beast of the Week. Yep, it's that time. It's that time every week. So I'll just dive into mine really quickly. Yeah. I agree. I thought Yuma Aoyagi versus Suwama was excellent. Suwama is one of those guys who is a legend on paper, but I don't think he gets his flowers enough. His long reign post-pandemic, where he was Triple Crown champion, was stellar. I mean, he was having great matches with everybody. Not only that, I mean, he's been All Japan's one of their top 3 guys for the last 15 years at this point. He always delivers, except for when he's in the Voodoo Murders, but he's not there anymore. He's back to being babyface, Evolution, Blonde Streak, Suwama, and he was just great here against Yuma Aoyagi. Put him over clean. It's not the first time he's done this. He also put Aoyagi over clean in the Violent Giants breakup match a couple years ago. So he's been great at elevating younger talent. I just adore Suwama. He does these. He is, despite being a giant, he's incredible at comebacks too. Like, he's great at people targeting his limbs or whatever, and then he just makes a big rumbly big boy comeback, and I just love him. So Suwama for putting on a great world title match this weekend, alongside the culmination of finally moving past Voodoo Murder stuff, is my Beast of the Week. Jamie?
I love it. My Beast of the Week is someone that we did talk about during the show, but I didn't say too much, and there's a reason that I didn't say too much, because I was saving it. My Beast of the Week is Big Boss Shimizu.
Nice.
Because I thought he was terrific in his semi-final and final match. You talked about last week, Parker, how you kind of you likened him to an ice ribbon wrestler, and I kind of get the vibe you're going for. He's naturally like just way bigger than pretty much all the people on the roster, but he's also super easy to root for, despite him kind of like being the Goliath in there. His match with Kikuta was like, and Dragon Gate's like a pretty much a junior promotion, but it was like a house fight. I thought it was amazing, and then he didn't get the win, but I thought he was great in the finals as well. And hopefully he'll get that title match with Kikuta coming up pretty soon. But yeah, Big Boss Shimizu, big fan, and he's my Beast of the Week.
Can we do our collective real quick? Well, who are we thinking for the collective?
Man, I was kind of thinking Ospreay.
I say Ospreay.
That match.
I would go.
So
yeah, I say Ospreay. Ospreay.
Yeah, I just can't think of what else from this weekend was like blow away awesome. You know what I mean?
I actually have a little pitch. I have a pitch.
Okay.
I think we induct Will Ospreay to the Hall of Beasts.
We can never induct Ospreay into the Hall. He can never be our Beast.
He can never be Beast of the Week again.
But honestly, he's so beast that I feel like, just to make it better for everyone else, we make Ospreay into the Hall of Beasts to level the playing field. That's my pitch. What do you guys think?
You know what this is? You know what this is, because I remember he mentioned it. We've had 3 inductees so far into the Hall of Beasts. We had Yuji, Kento, and Tsukasa Fujimoto. Murph's been there for none of them.
Right.
He wants to get a foot in the door. He wants to feel involved. So
I feel like
I'm
I want
down
to
with
get in the
it.
Hall of Fame voting.
We got to make it fair. We got to give other wrestlers a chance, because if Ospreay has a big time singles match that week,
It's over.
More
it's
likely
over.
than not, it's going to be Will freaking Ospreay who's going to be our collective Beast of the Week that week. I'm down with it.
Let's make him the Beast of the Week this week.
Member.
Beast of the Week this week, and then Hall of Beasts forever. Emeritus.
I love it. Love it. What a crew. That's awesome.
For my Beast of the Week, there were 2 candidates. The first was Gus Malzahn, who's had a hell of a week on the recruiting.
You see, because he got the 5th ranked safety in the
and he got some other guys. He got a top 3. He's made it the 2nd most recruiting class in Florida, which is a very big deal for UCF fans.
That is a big deal. God, are they ahead of Florida?
No, we're behind Florida, ahead of FSU and Miami. Okay.
Really? Damn.
But here's my Beast of the Week.
Oh, he's gonna do.
This is the only guy that can make the SummerSlam Slim Jim Battle Royale on the same level as the fucking Royal Rumble. This guy fucking carried Sheamus, even though Sheamus decided he wanted to botch all over the place, and he made it a great match. My Beast of the Week is who else but L.A. Knight. Yeah!
I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. That was
Who's
bad.
in the game? L.A. Knight. Yeah, okay, that's it. Fucking
Murph ended his legendary run of picking non-wrestlers.
The wrestling is back.
LA Knight is definitely a choice, but you know.
Why? I'm going to end the non-wrestler run with the most beast wrestler in the world. L.A. Knight.
Huh. Well, all right then. So, our Beasts of the Week this week: Suwama, Big Boss Shimizu, Will Ospreay for the last time, and you said Sheamus. Sheamus is yours.
Stay with me, Parker.
I mean, he said
L.A. Knight.
He said the most beast wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
Sheamus.
Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta. Yeah. Yeah. Some people say I sound like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock combined.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, $1.99 super chat from Mavs fan 84. We appreciate you, Mavs fan. If I could freaking click on it. Roman Beast of the Week for holding the belt hostage. I'm down with that. I like it when WWE is bad and nonsensical. It makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. Although I would have liked Jey Uso to win that title. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for us. Yeah, they're gonna bring Lance Anoa'i in next, and he's gonna be the new Solo.
They're gonna bring in Zilla.
All right, everyone, that is going to do it for us this week. We appreciate all of you watching. We had really good viewership this week. We had over 50 live viewers at one point.
51 viewers at one point. We really appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Maybe we got to be more negative more often. But we appreciate it. We'll give you we will have we'll know the G1 winner next week. I'm very excited for that, and we'll continue with our updates, and we'll also we'll know the Tokyo Princess Cup winner too. The 2 most important tournaments in Japan all year. No, but we'll keep up with the updates. We'll preview Dangerous Gate. We'll have all that stuff going down this time next week. Thank you everybody for listening. Stay
dumb.